Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Joy Business Report. Coming up, banks to soon adopt only national ID card as primary source of identification for banking transactions. Also, MTN backs government's move to re-register all SIM cards since it will help curb Momo fraud. We'll bring you more from the Ghana CEO Summit, where CEOs of MTN Ghana and Multimedia Group Limited were recognized as CEOs of the decade within the telecom and media categories, respectively. Also ahead in the bulletin, $11 billion worth of contract awarded to Ghanaians by Jubilee Partners since commercial production of crude oil. Details coming up. My name is Darryl Kwao. First up, banks will soon communicate to customers about the usage of only the national ID card as a primary source of documentation for transactions. This follows discussions between the banks represented by the Ghana Association of Bankers, the National Identification Authority, and the Bank of Ghana. The discussion is said to have reached an advanced stage, and a roadmap on when to use the national ID card will be crafted shortly. John Ewa is Chief Executive of the Ghana Association of Bankers.
Discussions are presently ongoing with the national ID, and I'm sure in a very short while, customers will get further information from banks on how we are working with the national ID to also use that as a primary source of identifying customers for banking transactions.
Can one say that once discussion is concluded, banks specifically are going to rely on only the national identification card for transactions?
That is what the law says. And there is ongoing debate with the national ID and other active operators within that system for us to have a period where perhaps we'll be using parallel systems. We'll be using what we have now and the national ID. But when that period expires, then the law says only the national ID becomes the primary document or card for authenticating customers' information on for banking transactions.
That was John Ewa, CEO of the Ghana Association of Bankers. We've got some news coming in from the Bank of Ghana. Its Monetary Policy Committee saying that it plans to hold a meeting on May 19 to May 21, 2021. But that has been rescheduled to May 26 to May 28, 2021, and a press conference will be held on Monday, May 31, 2021. And we'll be following that for you, see if there will be any changes with the announcement of a policy rate. Now, let's move on. Telecoms giant MTN Ghana has backed moves by government to embark on a re-registration of all SIM cards this year. According to the company, this will help reduce fraud cases associated with mobile money transactions. Chief Corporate Service Officer at MTN Ghana, Sam Quantin, spoke to Joy Business at day one of the 5th Ghana CEO Summit being held here in Accra.
We are MTN. We have always said, and one of our taglines are that we are leading the delivery of a bold new digital world. And in that effort, customer KYC is important. We're currently working with the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization to roll out re-registration of our subscribers as well as all subscribers. And in that vein, it would help to tackle fraud. We, at the back end, have done several initiatives on our systems. We're continuing to engage with all other stakeholders to be able to continue fighting this fraud. And in terms of digital fraud, it is not unique to Ghana. It happens everywhere that the economy has been digitized. But then we, as operators, are doing our part with other stakeholders to ensure that we keep abreast and to make sure customers are protected, and we would be able to curb the fraud activities of those out there. And the KYC would go a long way to help in that regard.
Chief Corporate Service Officer at MTN Ghana, Sam Quantin, and we'll still remain with that event because Chief Executive of the Multimedia Group Limited, our boss, Kwesi Chum, was recognized CEO of the decade within the media category. Congratulations, sir. And MTN's Salom Adadivo as CEO of the year in the telecoms category. Congratulations to him as well. Way to go. Now, the Public Interest and Accountability Committee will next week engage Parliament to look into the recommendations of the 2020 Annual Petroleum Report. Some of the recommendations include the need for the annual budget funding amount to be spread thinly in accordance with Section 21 of the Petroleum Revenue Management, as well as a need for the Ghana Revenue Authority to initiate action to recover surface rental arrears with the appropriate interest. Chairman of the committee, Professor Kwame Adom-Frimpong, tells Joy Business government has taken the 2020 report in good faith.
We need to have another thorough discussion with Parliament. But so far, we haven't got any negative comments from the government. The government has taken it in good faith. As the President assured us that he will work with us, any recommendation you make, you take it in good faith. It's in a bad faith. He will see to it that everything is corrected and they proceed. As I said, we are not here to look at only the loopholes. If the government is doing well, we will make sure that we commend the government. So we are working hand in hand with the government. Ours is to monitor, evaluate, and prompt the key stakeholders, government and other institutions, the right thing to be done in accordance with the Act.
Professor Kwame Adom-Frimpong is chairman of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee. Now, the Jubilee Partners say they have awarded significant amount of contracts to Ghanaians since commercial oil production began in 2010. According to the partners, the total value of contracts can be pegged at almost $11 billion. Now, this follows concerns that the oil exploration firms have done little in supporting indigenous companies operating in the sector. However, this argument has been challenged by the partners. Wissam Al-Monthiri is the managing director of Tullow Oil.
Contribution has been a number of jobs created and supply chain maturing and growth. In the period 2010 to 2020, Tullow and its partners awarded over $16 billion worth of contracts, of which 65%, almost $11 billion, have included some kind of local company component, in many cases a predominant local company component. And those are kind of headline figures that are easy to latch on to. But what's more important than the numbers and the dollars is the jobs created, the growth in the economy, the growth in the industry.
There are sometimes some concerns about the fact that Ghana hasn't benefited that much. What do you have to say to it in terms of the local community, how they've benefited from you being in that area?
Well, it's clear that local content for us is part of our license to operate, and we strive to further local content in everything we do. We continue to develop the supply chain through engagement sessions, training sessions. We never rest because we know that there's more to do despite past achievement. And we work with both the Ministry of Energy, of course, GMPC, the Petroleum Commission, to help identify what the next target areas should be in terms of local content development.
Meanwhile, the Jubilee Partners have invested over $19 billion in developing the Jubilee and 10 fields since 2010. They have also paid more than $6 billion in taxes to the state. Moving on, Economist Professor Eric Osei-Sibe is pushing for more drastic measures to help control the country's rising debt stock. This follows disagreements between government and the International Monetary Fund on which expenditure items must be considered in calculating Ghana's public debt stock. The development has resulted in the two parties recording different debt-to-GDP ratios for last year. But Professor Sibe argues that the debt numbers are still high and more needs to be done to save the economy.
I think that a lot more has to be done. I think that the government has to be more radical in terms of domestic revenue mobilization, because that is the only way we can reverse the situation. Government currently does not have enough fiscal space to be able to borrow to finance its activities. Recording a fiscal deficit of 15.5% is not an easy task to immediately bring it back to pre-COVID era. We all have to work hard. We have to ensure that we increase domestic consumption, increase domestic investments in a way that we will be able to expand our productive capabilities and reduce imports significantly while promoting exports.
You had economist Dr. Eric Osei-Sibe there. Time now for your money tips on Money Lab. Here's CEO of First Finance Company, Gloria Koto.
On Money Lab today, we conclude our discussions on the type of collective investment schemes that we have. For today, we will be looking at index funds. These are type of funds that track a specific index, such as the Dow Jones or the Ghana Stock Exchange Composite Index. They follow the components of the index that they track, and their performance is also the same as the index performs. I hope you have enjoyed the series on collective investment schemes, where we discuss funds types such as fixed income funds, money market funds, balance funds, equity funds, specialty funds, and concluded with index funds. Join us for subsequent edition as we discuss various investment tips.
Thank you, Gloria. The markets now on the currency market. You are getting the dollar for 5 cedis 76 pesos. The British pound going for 8 cedis 2 pesos. The euro selling at 6 cedis 9 pesos. On the commodity market, crude oil increased marginally to open trading at $69.73 a barrel. This morning, gold gained $3, is selling at $1,869 a ton. And cocoa is also trading at $2,539 a ton after going down by significant $65. Gold gained $3, selling at $1,869 an ounce. And so there's more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. It's back to Kojo with more of the Super Morning Show. And may we say a big congratulations once again to our own CEO, Kwesi Chum, for being recognized as the CEO of the Decade in the media category at the Ghana CEO Summit. Congratulations, boss.
CEO of the at least last 2.5 decades.
That's true.
Yeah,
and he deserves all the accolades.
Absolutely, absolutely. He's brought a vision to life, and it's continuing to, birth new visions every day. That's amazing. That's legacy, right?
Yeah.
All right, so more from the Joy Business Report tomorrow. But listen, you don't wait till tomorrow to get